got a quickie episode of Inside Lines for you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone, my name is Jet. Hope y'all are having a wonderful night. I originally was not going to be doing an Inside Lines video because today is my birthday and I was going to take the day off, to say the least. But then Adam Stern decided to drop a bomb, and now I figure, you know what? Grind doesn't stop. Even on my birthday, I will have some stuff that I would like to talk about. Now, if you're not up to date with it, let me explain. Back in May, a report came out that Brad Keselowski had been given an offer to go from Team Penske to Roush Fenway Racing and be a driver/owner for the company in 2022. Well, now an update from Adam Stern basically said it is a done deal. Although, according to Adam Stern, Roush Fenway has held off the announcement in deference to Team Penske, Brad Keselowski's current team. And yeah, so it's a done deal, apparently. Brad Keselowski had some fun with it. He went on Twitter saying, just logged on to Twitter and had that Homer Simpson meme or gif of him going back into the bushes by saying he got out, saw what's going on, and decided, you know what, let me log back off of Twitter for a little bit. But yeah, it's basically a done deal. Brad Keselowski is going to be leaving Team Penske and go to Roush Fenway next season as a owner driver. And I saw some people that were kind of questioning this move, which I personally think this is a great decision by Brad Keselowski, because first of all, number one, he's not going to have the pressure of potentially getting replaced. So like at Team Penske, we always felt like Brad Keselowski was, if anyone was going to get taken out of a ride at Team Penske, it was going to be Brad Keselowski. You know, he's a lot older than both Logano and Ryan Blaney. It would just make sense, especially in today's day and age. If you're going to replace a guy with your team, you're going to replace a younger driver with the oldest driver at your stable. And in this case, it's Brad Keselowski. And there have been rumors of Keselowski leaving Team Penske since last year. I mean, there were even reports saying that he would go replace Jimmy Johnson in the 48 team. We would later find out that he was never even an option for the 48, but still, rumors go back as far as last year of him leaving the 2 car. But now that it is confirmed, I want to discuss a couple things. First of all, number one, how will this relationship affect Team Penske in terms of who's going to replace the 2? How could this also affect the 21 team on the Wood Brothers? And what effect this would have on the future of Roush Fenway and Brad Keselowski? Let's first talk about the situation between the 2 and the 21. Because originally, if you remember, months ago, it was reported that Matt DiBenedetto would leave the Wood Brothers Racing team at the end of this season and would be replaced by Austin Cindric in 2022. Well, now with Brad Keselowski leaving the 2 car at the end of this season, that 2 car is up for grabs. And we don't know currently at the moment who's going to take that spot. We don't know if Austin Cindric is going to stay with the Wood Brothers Racing team in 2022. When asked about this earlier in the year, if will Austin Cindric go to the 21 team, Roger Penske simply responded by saying, I don't know. Yeah, he didn't confirm it. So now the situation becomes, okay, if he doesn't know what Austin Cindric's future looks like, then what the hell's going on? Who's going to take over the 21 team? Could potentially Cindric go to the 2 team and Matt DiBenedetto stays with the Wood Brothers next season? I think that is the most likely option. You know, Austin Cindric has been in the Team Penske stable for quite some time now. I think since 2017, if I'm not mistaken, when he moved to the Xfinity Series full time. So he's already at the stable. It would make sense for him to remain there. So, you know, he knows all the people that works at the organization. It would make sense for him to stay there instead of him going to a satellite team like the Wood Brothers, where he has to basically start all over again, get in touch, get familiar with all the people he's working around with. So I think the likely option would be for Austin Cindric to go into the 2 team. But again, there's also a possibility he could go to the 21. And I heard some people say that Matt DiBenedetto might go to the 2. I don't see that as a possibility. I think the likely scenario would be Austin Cindric to the 2. As for the 21 team, I haven't heard any other drivers being brought up to potentially replace Matt DiBenedetto or to drive the 21 car if DiBenedetto were to not return to the team. But I think the likely situation would be Cindric to the 2, DiBenedetto stays at the 21. I mean, personally, I don't even know. I can't even confidently say anything about Matt DiBenedetto's future. Even with everything that's going on with Brad Keselowski, we haven't heard anything regarding DiBenedetto's future. And there are other drivers that are up for grabs. How about, let's say, for example, Ryan Preece. There have also been rumors of him potentially leaving JTG Daughtry Racing next season. And even Ryan Newman, which we're going to get to him in a little bit. But yeah, I'm not saying just because the 2 cars up for grabs, that doesn't mean DiBenedetto is going to be guaranteed to stay at the Wood Brothers in 2022. It's just a possibility. Now, that's everything we need to know regarding the 2 and the 21. Now let's talk about Brad Keselowski and him going to Roush Fenway. First of all, we don't know exactly how much ownership Brad Keselowski will have in the team, but it's going to be a minority stake in RFR. But now there are a couple questions I have. First of all, number 1, how many cars is Roush Fenway going to be starting in 2022? Are they going to stick with the 2 drivers, or could they open up a 3rd car team? Right now, 2 drivers at Roush Fenway. Ryan Newman in the 6, Chris Buescher in the 17. Buescher, guaranteed, he's going to stay at Roush Fenway. He is the youngest driver of the team, and he's been putting up some pretty good results. At least for in the state that the team is in, he has been getting some good speed out of his car. Ryan Newman, on the other hand, his future is not as clear as Chris Buescher. Although we know Buescher, more than likely, his contract is up for renewal this year, but we know more than likely he's going to get an extension. Newman's contract also ends at the end of this year. We don't know his future. He's in his 40s, which is around the time where we see drivers leave NASCAR in this day and age. And if Roush Fenway were to stay a 2-car team, definitely Ryan Newman would be getting the boot in favor of Brad Keselowski. But the fact that we haven't heard anything regarding Newman's future, usually when an announcement like this, you would automatically get an additional announcement saying, hey, not only is he joining the team, he's going to be driving the 6 car. The fact that we didn't get that type of announcement, all we got was he's joining the team, makes me believe that potentially Roush Fenway could open up a 3rd car team. Maybe bring back the 16 car. Who knows? But I find that interesting. The fact that they only said Keselowski, he's going to Roush Fenway. That they said nothing about what car he's driving makes me think, hey, he could potentially be starting a 3rd car team at Roush. Now, if that were to happen, the team would definitely need sponsorship. I saw a picture float around of a throwback car. If you remember, in the NASCAR, what was then the NASCAR Nationwide Series in 2009, 2010, Discount Tire originally was the 6-car team in David Reagan. Some people might say, hey, maybe Discount Tire. They've had a long relationship with Brad Keselowski dating back to 2010 when he drove in what was then the Nationwide Series, now the Xfinity Series. Could they potentially leave Team Penske and go with him to Roush Fenway and help him open up that 3rd car team? That's a possibility. I believe we heard Newman say that he doesn't want to retire, or I think he even said that he's still in his prime. So if that's the case, if Buescher is going to stay and Newman wants to stay, it all comes down to the sponsorship. If they have enough money, if Keselowski can bring in enough money and Roush Fenway can bring in enough money to open up a 3rd car team, then yeah, they would definitely do that. But if that's not the case, if they can't find anything, more than likely they would have to squeeze Brad Keselowski in and force Newman out of the car. Okay, so now we covered the driving part. What about the ownership part of this deal? Well, Brad Keselowski, he has a lot of experience of what it's like to be an owner in NASCAR. Not in the Cup Series, but at least in the Truck Series. Remember, Brad Keselowski Racing was a team in the Truck Series. Although they didn't win a championship, they were a very solid Truck Series team. I believe they ran from 2011, 2012 until I think 2016, 2017, around that area. I think with Keselowski's knowledge on what it's like to own a NASCAR team would benefit Roush Fenway's part of the deal with Keselowski coming over. Also, you have to understand that Keselowski, he's spent since 2010, he's been with Team Penske for 10 years. He probably knows what it's like to be part of a top organization in NASCAR. And he could potentially bring that knowledge and bring that information to Roush Fenway, who was also once a top organization in NASCAR, have now fallen, from grace and are trying to work their way back up. And a person like Keselowski, who knows what it's like to be part of a top organization in NASCAR, could again help bring that team back up to the top. I think this is also a perfect opportunity, considering the fact that the next gen car is coming to play in 2022, is going to completely change the landscape of the NASCAR Cup Series. And we've seen Roush Fenway Racing consistently make gains as the seasons go by. Look how bad they were back in 2015 once Carl Edwards left. That team really went down the toilet. I mean, they couldn't even finish. I don't think neither driver, Biffle, Stenhouse, or Trevor Bayne finished better than I think 23rd in the point standings. I mean, they were horrible. And slowly but surely, I think up until last year, they started to make some really big gains. 2017 was an off year because you had Stenhouse winning those 2 races at Talladega and Daytona. But yeah, outside of that, they really hadn't shown much speed. 2019, Ryan Newman made the playoffs with Roush Fenway Racing. And again, slowly but surely, they started to show more speed. You know, they're now inside the top 20. And then we saw them inside the top 15. And in certain scenarios, especially with Chris Buescher this season, we've seen him compete in the top 10. Look at Homestead this season. Chris Buescher had a fantastic, well, he didn't have a fantastic day, but he had a really good start. Was challenging with drivers like Elliott, drivers like Harvick, challenging for the race lead at Homestead. Quite a shock to see. It was a one-time appearance apparently, but still, we haven't seen any speed from Roush Fenway Racing since the mid-2000s, or at least the early 2010s. So this is a great opportunity for Keselowski to basically go with the team that he knows he's going to be secure. It's not going to be like at Penske, where he's got a younger driver that's potentially taking a seat. He's now going to be an owner/driver. He could also be potentially setting up for his future outside of the car when he's done driving eventually. At first, it might make no sense, but when you look into it, you look at the performance and the trend that Roush Fenway's on, the next-gen car coming to play next season, Keselowski's knowledge of Penske that could help Roush Fenway's future, and the fact that Keselowski will no longer have the pressure of being replaced since he's going to be the top guy. That without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be the best driver at Roush Fenway since Carl Edwards left when he drives for the team in 2022. So we know he's got that number 1 spot secured, and he's got ownership in the team. So we know he's not going to be forced out of the ride. If anything, he can leave really when he decides to leave. I think this is overall a great decision for Brad Keselowski, especially for not only his driving career, but especially his post-driving career in NASCAR. It's going to be very interesting to see, though, who is going to replace Keselowski. Could be Austin Cindric, I feel like. Or hell, it could be a completely different driver that we're not talking about. I mean, we really don't know. We say Cindric, but we don't know. I mean, we got the 21 spot that's still open. He could still go to the Wood Brothers in 2022 and leave DiBenedetto without a ride. We really don't know, but that's part of the reason why silly season, in my opinion, is so fun to be a part of, because you really have no idea what's going to happen. But that is going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. Guys, tell me, what are your thoughts in the comment section down below? Who do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to replace the 2? Who do you think is going to go to the 21? And what do you think is going to happen with Roush Fenway and with Brad Keselowski from 2022 and beyond? But until next time, my name is JettMDK, and I'll see y'all next time.